Well, the Merchants Association, in conjunction with the City of Birmingham, had raised the money to redo Avondale Park. So that was really one of the first catalysts to the revitalization of the area. But outside of the park, it was really a whole stretch of 2 gas stations and all abandoned buildings. Now we're at 100% capacity, I'm pretty sure, as far as space on the street. And it's been a quick, to me, in a 6-year turnaround, pretty amazing to see the difference from what it was in 2011 to what it is now.
Yeah, well, so we had the food truck, which we started before the restaurant, obviously, but the impetus behind that was that we would be able to go to different neighborhoods in Birmingham and see what community we liked and where we thought we could put roots. And we did a couple events in Avondale at the brewery down the street, and we just liked the feel, the neighborhood. So when we came here, it did take a little bit of convincing on my business partner's end because it didn't quite look like this. But Avondale has always had like the tree-lined streets, and there's always been families walking around. The park is beautiful. It just got redone. So it was definitely a lot calmer. And now there's probably 9 restaurants here and like 4 bars, and there's retail coming in. So the difference between now and 5 years ago is pretty tremendous, but the difference between now and 10 years ago is like night and day.
I think because of the amount of people that were coming through the brewery, it started generating a lot of foot traffic. And so I think too, the owner of this was part of purchasing all of the abandoned buildings and having them, built out and then renting them back out to the other merchants. So
we're a little bit on kind of the more of the end of, maybe not the end, but the current phase of revitalization. We've only been here for 3 years. I think the next big opportunity for Avondale is kind of the residential piece. So it's been neat to see kind of like a resurgence of young families, people that are going to be like bought in and invested in this community move here. Avondale has a very unique kind of identity to it, and so I don't think there's just like a cookie cutter, suburban type solution. I think it needs to be something that's very, that kind of is developed organically through people that either currently live or have some sort of stake in the community.
I've noticed a lot of my friends have moved into this area because they're like, wow, we can afford more here, get more bang for our buck, fix up a house and make it a home.
Also, the price was attractive. It was less per square foot than other places. It would be foolish on anybody's part not to pay attention to this particular area.
Like, I have a ton of people that work for us that walk to work, and they walk to work not because they don't have a car, they walk to work because they live in the area, and that's awesome.
how many of the homes around where I live have been bought and fixed up and are now turning around and being sold. Property values have gone up. It's a very desirable area right now to live in. It's so nice to see people walking. I see my neighbors walking down here and coming home with to-go boxes and kids out in the yards. And
like, the crime has gone down from what it was even before, we existed back in like the 70s and 80s compared to like what it is now. There's been a ton of just improvement and all that. And too, like Avondale Elementary School, it's a public school, part of the city schools of Birmingham, and they have made a ton of positive change over the last 10 or 15 years, and I think there's a lot of opportunity to continue to see growth and development in that school, so that more and more families from this area will send their children there and just kind of continue to grow it in its kind of reputation.
Beloved has always been very much about what happens beyond the walls as well as within it. But there's definitely been development and change in this area. A lot of it has been development of a very particular type, which has some real advantages to the community and has some disadvantages. There's a sizable ongoing homeless community in Avondale, which is kind of partially at odds with the revitalization narrative here.
There's ideas out there to improve a lot of the streets and a lot of the landscaping and things like that.
I would love to see more street lights. I'd love to see better sidewalks, but that all takes time. So
just more fun things keep coming to the area. I feel like more people every year are down here and walking around, and families, and more people are moving to the neighborhood.
It's like Crestwood's fun little brothers, and here it's like, there's a nightlife scene, there's great restaurants.
It's a hot place to be. It's like Alabama's Brooklyn. It's a creative hub. If you're a foodie, it's awesome. Food and drink options there are great.
Yeah, I just think it represents fun. I think it represents Birmingham kind of coming of age in a way.
Love that it's eclectic. I love that it's a melting pot of all demographics, all age people.
So we are black and white, young and old, gay and straight, rich and poor. We have people with mental illness and physical disabilities, people who are cis and transgender. So a real mixture of people.
And
Y'all, hey, how y'all doing?
hey, we're in the middle of an interview.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay.
sorry.
There ain't no harm.
Yeah. You're fine. Avondale.